Damon here with NLP Jim. Expectations versus opportunities. Now, before I get into that, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get regular updates of these videos. Expectations versus opportunities. Bruce Lee, the martial artist, action star, writer, philosopher, has been a huge inspiration to me since I was a kid. He's the reason why I got into martial arts, which I don't do anymore, but he had mastered his mind and his body. He, to me, represents the height of excellence and mastery. And since then has always been a hugely inspirational figure or icon in my life. Someone who I've modeled, someone who I've used in my imagination as a mentor. What he often preached, and he was a philosopher and he actually wrote books on philosophy, or he wrote volumes on it which later became books that were published. He believed in emptying your mind of expectations. Expectations are often what clouds you from witnessing the infinite opportunities and possibilities around you. And martial arts was a way that he sort of understood the world around him. He needed that physical practice, that physical art. And when he was sparring with people or when he was in actual fights, he gave the appearance as being able to read his opponent's mind and respond to them faster than almost like he knew what they were going to do before they did it. He explained this phenomenon as having zero expectations and being completely in the present and in the moment and responding to his opponent rather than reacting to his opponent. So what does that mean exactly? Reacting to something is when you're always a step behind. When you have expectations and something happens that is outside of your expectation, then you have to react because you're already a step behind. When you empty yourself of expectations, now you're open to all possibilities. You're open to all opportunities. You're more in the moment. You're more present. And so you then respond. It's kind of like if you've ever danced with a really good dance partner. It's almost like you're moving in synchrony, almost like you're one entity. You don't have to, it's not a 1-2, 1-2. You're just doing it. It's like your right hand working with your left hand when you're doing a task. If you're driving, your hands are not reacting to each other. They're sort of responding to each other because they're working together. This is what Bruce Lee would do with his opponents. And as soon as they sort of stepped out of that relationship, that's when they got caught with one of his strikes or one of his attacks. Imagine what your life would be like if you lived from a place of possibility and opportunity. We're going to have expectations. Expectations are what the programming and neurolinguistic programming represent. Our programs are shortcuts for ways to run these programs so that we're more efficient with our time and our energy, so we don't have to redo everything all the time. We run that program, and which means we have a set expectation. But what happens when that expectation isn't met? Frustration, struggle. You struggle to respond to that. A lot of times people get angry. I know I do. So the more you can empty yourself of expectation and live in the present and respond to things that happen to you, and you will be able to notice more opportunities. You'll be able to notice more possibility. We're going to have expectations. That's normal. It's part of our life. We're going to have programs. NLP is about becoming more aware of those programs, making them more conscious so we can reevaluate them and see, are they really still serving us? And sometimes they are. And we don't want to get rid of things that serve us. So if they're serving us, keep them in place. Many times, though, especially as you get older and as your life changes, you're going to find ways in which the program that you're running or the programs that you're running are not as good as they could be. And part of what NLP is about is bringing that into consciousness and updating those programs. Sometimes getting rid of the programs entirely and replacing them with a new program. And when you do that, you become more flexible, you become more present, you become more responsive to life rather than reactive to life, which is a much better place to live and a much happier and more fulfilling place to live from. It just enriches your relationship with life. It's uncomfortable at times. We love our expectations. We love the familiar. We love having set programs that make life easier. At the same time, in the long run, they can make life a lot harder, and they can create a lot of frustration. And especially if you have expectations about the next hour, the rest of your day, the next week, the next year, the next decade even. What happens sometimes is we start living from a place of making everything familiar. And that's actually what can cause depression, and it can make life seem meaningless and purposeless. And at the very least, life doesn't feel that fun. So break through these programs, do something unexpected. Look around you, what is happening, and respond to that. Do something you haven't done before. Do something out of the ordinary. Live from opportunity and possibility, and empty your mind of expectations. If you haven't already, please check out our website, nlp-gem.com. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. Take care.